Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another GM turn for Fan Fiction Act number 3. In case you don't know what fan fiction is, it is a play-by-post role-playing experience that we have in our community Discord. If you want to join, very easy. Head on over to discord.gg/Henley. Check out the fan fiction subcategory, and from there, we can invite you in. You can create a character and you can join us for this fantastic game. As I said, Act 3. So we're in our third day of this. So far, so good, right? So far, so good. Let's see how our players did today. So I know that two of the players have conversed with each other. Not sure how we'll handle that. So there might be a little bit of like woo, weirdness, but we'll see how we go. So let's find out. Yeah, let's find out. Okay, cool. Start the sweet, sweet music. Start the sweet, sweet music. All right, so Act 3. A literal sea of people is how I would describe the chaos right now in downtown Wendigo, hun, says the man peering outside of his window blinds. The roads are just filled with people eager to be somewhere else. Honestly, I actually regret being so close to the city right now. He stretches out his arms and collapses onto the couch. We have enough food to last a week or so, but honestly, I do not want you out there right now. It would be too hard to believe people are doing everything they can to get every last scrap of food and water. Just come home to me. At that point, a brick comes sailing into his front window. And this is just the perfect music for this, by the way. Jesus! Honey, I'll call you back. The man puts the phone down on the couch and rushes over to the kitchen. The sound of men breaking their way into his home pressures the man to unlock the pistol case he stores under the drawer with the utensils. He fumbles 6 rounds into the chamber of the revolver and pulls the hammer back. At the same moment, 3 men have made their way into the kitchen, brandishing baseball bats and other assorted melee weapons. At the same time, wait, I just read that. In a moment of hesitation, the man protecting his home falters, giving all the opening the looters need, and he is rushed upon. A blow is delivered to his skull as he drops to the floor with a slump. I don't know why he farted, but, he did. Sorry, man. I have my own family to worry about, says one of the masked men, wrenching the revolver from his hands. The other 2 men have already made their way, already made from his stores as food. Have already made from his... The 2 men have already made out what they wanted from his stores of food, taking everything they can carry. The assaulted man passes out. It seems human nature has gotten in front of the people of Rockwell County. Civil unrest is in the air as people begin to hoard all they can. Survival of the fittest. Let the games begin. The time frame for the actions for the players in Act 3 is about 2 hours. And the global boost die they had total was 0. Alright, so let us see who goes first. There's also been a request in here for initiative reorder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players, okay. Alright, so let's just go down the list here. Here we got... the only one... did Twisting play today? No, I don't think he did. Okay. So. Alright, Zachary Hall, aka Dr. Cirrus, will roll your initiative first, my man. Let us begin. Oh, okay. So that's a pretty good roll. 2 successes, 1 advantage and one of those. Okay, our new leader. Tyler Blackmar. Yes. Okay, let's check out how he rolls. 2 successes. Okay. Yep. Okay. Tyler Blackmar, 2 successes. Easy. Next we have who? Samuel Davis. Okay. 1 and 3. So far, it's all in order of how we've been rolling, so let's keep it up. Rigger's character, Ronald Collin, aka Victor von Varus. I don't know how to pronounce this still. I'm never gonna know. 2 and 2. So that puts him at the top, actually, ahead of Zachary. Okay. Paul Abernathy, aka Fighter Panthers character. Let us roll that up. 3 and 3. Damn. Look at that fat roll right there. That's a good roll. So 3 and 3. All right. And Olga. Roll your initiative. 1 and 3. From the top to the bottom. Who else got 1 and 3? So Olga goes ahead of Samuel Davis because she is more trained in cool. Good to know. Hopefully this day I won't fail. Yeah. We'll see. Alright, John Stone, aka Mac Papa Squat, aka Big Food Stuffs. 3 and 1. That puts you second. Damn, dude. Whoever said that, you know, having a low cool never got you anywhere, right? Alright. So, the final order of operations. Paul Abernathy, aka Fighter Pants Guy. John Stone, aka Mac Papa Squat, aka Big Food Stuffs. Ronald Collin, aka Victor von Varus, aka Rigger. Zachary Blackhall, aka Dr. Sirius. Tyler Blackmar, aka Blind Watchman. Olga Yospolva, aka Lavender Tea. And Samuel Davis, aka Heavy Metal Madman. Alright. So with that in mind, let's find Paul Abernathy. I'm gonna need a drink of water before I do this, before my mouth falls out. Why does it keep doing that? Like, the position of it reorders sometimes. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry, I'm gonna fix that real quick. Why? I don't know why it's doing that. Better? Yeah, that's better. I don't know why it was doing that. It seems like it just does whatever it wants sometimes. Alright. Could have been worse. Could have been a whole lot better. But could have been worse. If the tires were in any decent shape, he could have just driven them to the hospital, but that wasn't an option. He could hotwire one of the intact cars, but there were too many eyes for that. He'd hitched a ride, so bringing Charles and his friend to the other infirmed? Bringing Charles and his friend to the other infirmed seemed like the best option. Unless there was a chance he could do some good, haul Charles's ass out of here, and haul Charles's ass out of there. Sorry, my brain is collapsing. But first, I'll bring this over here so it's easy to read. But first, he needed to verify that there were no surprises. He didn't know Charles's friend, and though he trusted Charles enough, that didn't extend to the bodyguard. Trust, but verify. Zach looked around and hid between the damaged van and another car. The cacophony was enough that people were minding their own business, and he used the time to do away with his mask and the gun. On went the reflective vest, and he hoisted the med bag over his shoulder. Now no one would question him, looking through the car for survivors. Out first came the bodyguard, followed quickly by Chuck. Fat ass, Zach complained as he was finally forced to put in some effort. But he had a good chance to save them both. But first, he needed to make sure there were no surprises waiting for him. Zach used perception again to search Charles and his comrade for anything dangerous or of interest, and then the car itself. Okay, well that's a lot to look over for one roll. So we'll make this a hard, we'll make this 4 purple, yeah? Because you're asking a lot. Basically, the way I sort of perceive this difficulty coming into factor here is specifically, you have a short amount of time and you want to verify first that there's no surprises. But you also want to look over literally everything that's of interest to you. So I would say that that is a difficult endeavor. Wait, why am I doing... Shit, I'm doing this the wrong way around, aren't I? Oh, well, fuck. We read out Dr. Sirius's one there. By mistake, not Fighter Pants, guys. Where is Dr. Sirius, anyway? On the order. Zachary Blackhole. Fuck, why did I read yours out? I don't know. Well, there's no need for... we'll fix this mistake, don't worry. There is no boost dice, so it's not going to factor in too much the order. So we'll do Zachary and then we'll move on. So might be. I don't know why I read them out of order. Okay, so perception. In terms of what you want to perceive here, specifically, it was mentioned that anything dangerous or of interest, and then the car itself. I'm going to say I'll give you blue dice for changing your costume and making it seem that you're not a looter. So there's that. I'll give you one for that. Yeah, that's really all I can see. I can't see you... well, I mean, because you're so close... Here's the reason. I'm going to give you a black die in this instance, because you're so close to the maelstrom, and it is very loud. It's kind of like how if you're trying to be stealthy, you don't camp next to a camp, because if anyone does approach the camp, it's going to be very hard to hear them do so because of the noise. So that's how I'm looking at this. So perception. Okay. Well, that boost dice really helped, but you actually didn't roll a single success other than on the boost dice, so not that you had a hard time, but you do get an advantage out of that. So again, you know, pressured for time for whatever reason, Zachary Blackhall overlooks his 2 wounded companions and the truck itself. A quick pat down of both of his companions finds nothing of value. Not even they're not even carrying any sort of weapons, really. So if there were any, it might be in the truck. But you know, you jump into the cab of the truck and you look into the back of the van. It's one of those ones where like you can see into the back through a window, and you can potentially crawl through, but there's no real way of like getting into the back. Because remember, the door was, I guess, sort of broken shut. With enough force from the inside, you could potentially kick it open. But yeah, you don't really find anything of value in here either. I mean, they were carrying in the back of the truck is some crates and stuff like that, but really that's about it. And you don't have, you know, anything on your hand right now that you could open the crates with, so it's hard to go over. It's hard to go through the crates per se. So yeah, we'll take a strain from you for you doing your turn, and that's where we'll leave you for that. Okay. So, Paul Abernathy. We need to actually read the order that the player's supposed to be in. Okay, Fighter Pants guy. If I get higher initiative than Tyler, then I can opt to go after him. Tyler. Okay, so you want to opt to go after Blind Watchman. Okay, that's fine. We'll move you down there. So we will do John Stern, aka Mac Popper Squad, which is big food stuff. Yes, it is. Alright. Alright. After successfully entering the cockpit and discovering what's happening to the plane, John says to himself, okay, everything is fucked now, but all we need right now is for someone to take control of the situation. John takes a loud step to make sure everyone stops screaming and speaking. At the same time, the thunder strikes the plane, making his step seems more powerful and strong. As he exclaims loudly to the pilots and the stewards, I'm guessing it's the same steward who helped me earlier. And if it's not, then that's okay. I'm loud and in charge, so listen up here, because I'm only going to say this once. And I ain't taking no for an answer. He pauses and takes a deep breath, and then points towards the steward and says, you, go talk to the passengers and tell them to calm down and follow safety procedures for when a crash is about to happen. And if you won't do it, I will. Okay. Then looks to the pilots and say, you two better get your shit straight, because I need you both to swerve this plane somewhere safe. And fly with all your might, or else we ain't got to see another day. I love this. I love that these pilots are literally fighting themselves and the plane, wrestling the plane to not nosedive into the ground, and this motherfucker comes in here and tells them how to do their jobs. I love it. I love it. Then I walk into the cockpit and close the cockpit door behind me and promptly take a seat. While seated, I buckle myself and hold onto my duffel bag of stuff while holding onto the chair to encourage the pilots. I would like to use leadership to inspire and command the plane's crew. And I'd like to use the results of what I rolled as the stewardess results for when she's calming down the passengers. I forgot to say this earlier, but in my bag I have my wrestling spandex, a knife, a gun. Wait, how did you bring a knife and a gun onto a plane? I don't think that would be acceptable. Oil to get my muscles nice and shiny. Okay. Makeup. And an animal mask. Extra civilian clothing essentials, well over $250 and bullets. Okay, so you can take everything that you want there aside from the knife, the gun, and the bullets. Even in the 1980s, man, they did let people onto planes with guns. That's kind of a ridiculous ask. Okay, so your role. You want to use leadership to inspire and command the plane's crew. So this is going to be an extremely hard thing to do. Basically, you're on a plane that's literally crashing. It's literally falling out of the sky right now. And you want to command the crew to stand up and leave the safety of their seats. And also the result of this is that the plane is going to hit the ground at the end of this roll. So the fact that you said that you seated yourself and buckled in is good, because, yeah. So I'm going to do two things for you specifically, because you're in a situation where you are potentially at a loss of life. Let's see here. So, okay. First things first. You are going to receive 1 black die for the fact that you are asking a stewardess to put herself in danger. You're also going to receive another black die because it is going against the captain's orders that because, you know, the seatbelt sign is on, everyone needs to remain seated, the plane is crashing, and you want the stewardess to ignore the captain's orders, basically. On top of that, I'm going to make this a 2 purple, 2 red difficulty, considering that, you know, it's literally life and death for a lot of these people. In terms of, I'll give you a blue dice for, you know, being intimidating. The way that you described it is pretty much on point to how I imagine that sort of stuff going. What did you actually want to roll here? Leadership. Okay, that's pretty much the role I would assume. So let's take a look here. What is your leadership? Okay, 3 green. Yeah. So, I love the idea that you do all of this, right? You do all of this, and the stewardess just sort of looks up at you from behind the chair that she was sitting on, and she just goes, "Sit down, sir. You're going to get yourself killed." You then sit down, buckle up, seeing that the situation, I guess, for the most part, is out of your control at this point. And then the camera sort of pulls out from where you are, and we see the plane smashing into a national park, and the plane fuselage basically like cracks open, and the people in the back spill out, right? The door to the cockpit like bursts open, and you see this from your perspective. Basically, it sort of like hits a tree and then gets cut in half and slides sideways. So the cockpit keeps sliding in one direction, and the fuselage, or the main chassis of the plane, slides in the other. It barrels into some trees, flips, and you see people and luggage and whatnot flying literally in all different directions. The cockpit basically like collides through a bunch of trees, and at one point it comes to a stop as basically a tree lodges itself through the actual windshield. I guess, is it called a windshield on a plane? I guess it is, right? I mean, I can't really think of anything else that would be called. But it pierces the windshield and goes straight through the door handle. So basically right now, you are stuck between the cockpit, you're in the chair, and there's a tree basically across your stomach, like a branch, sort of almost pinning you into place. I guess, you know, I say almost, but you're not like, you know, you're not capable of not moving. One of the cockpit's head was taken off with this. One of the pilot's head was taken off with this tree branch, and the other 2 are knocked unconscious. So what we're going to do now for you is we're going to make a resilience check, and this will be against 2 purple, 1 red. This will determine how awake you are in this situation, as well as the damage that you'll take coming in. It won't be a lot of damage, I imagine, mostly because of the fact that you were seated and you were in the cockpit when it happened, which is, turns out, was the safest place to be on this plane. Surprise, surprise! So yeah. Let's roll resilience, which is also 3 green for you. Alright, that's a much better result. Even though technically you rolled pretty much the same as the last one, you got far more successes. You got 5 successes versus the 3. Alright. So, the strain of this event is pretty intense for you, though. I'm going to say you're going to take 2 strain. You don't take any damage, though. And your consciousness is waning, I guess, would be the correct terminology that I want to use here. And yeah, that's where we'll leave your character for this act. Big food. Let's see here. Next, we have Ronald Collins, aka Victor von Varus, aka Rigger. Alright, Rigger. Seeing the odd behavior of the storm in his rearview mirror, Victor pulls over to the side of the country road. County? Yeah, the country road. And steps out. Cue dramatic trailer shot of him standing in the nook of the car door as he slowly takes off his top hat, looks in the distance of the storm wall. Okay. It stopped. This is unnatural beyond belief. No longer directly fearing for his life, Victor takes a moment to consider his options. This could still move, but its behavior is intriguing. Victor gets back into his car and pulls onto the road, this time with a direction in mind. The town center would surely be full of confusion, but instead Victor heads elsewhere. Rather than head for help or officials, Victor heads somewhere less likely to be immediately flooded with people. The library. While Victor has never heard of anything like this, there's only one way to learn, and that is to try. So this is worth a shot. If there's no trouble getting to the library, I'd like to use my knowledge to try and research extreme weather phenomenon or other crazy event that may have happened. If the library is abandoned, locked, I'm also happy to use skullduggery to break in if need to. I don't think in the event that there would be a reason for someone to lock the library. So I think you're perfectly fine to use your knowledge here. It's less a case of you finding knowledge, but more like finding something relevant. So let's see. How would I make this difficult? So I mean, it's not good. Like it. This is a 2 purple difficulty. I'm gonna say a black dice is needed here, mostly because of how irrelevant a lot of these books will be. So it's less about like finding the suitable books, but more like finding like. Generally, my experience with finding particular information in books, it tends to be like irrelevant to a lot of what you want specifically. It's unlike the internet where you can like find a particular thing when you want it, and even then sometimes you have problems. Finding particular information in a book about a particular type of thing like you're searching for generally means that you won't really find anything. But the difficulty in this is low because of the fact that you might find something relevant about, say, storms in general that could potentially be helpful in the future, right? So it's less about arming yourself with the knowledge of what's actually this wall is or this maelstrom is, but arming yourself with knowledge in general about how to deal with such events might be suitable. So we'll go with that. I like to think that's a pretty good answer. But all right, so you want to use knowledge here. Wow, holy fuck. I mean, you rolled good, but like 3 failures on 2 purple die. That's pretty rough, actually. All right, so you get 1 failure and 2 advantages. The 2 advantages go towards creating a global dice, global boost. So that's good. We have 1. Also, I'm just gonna, while I'm here, mark everyone's XP for the session, except for Grimlock, who hasn't played in 2 days. That's fine. But yeah, so I mean, as I said, it's kind of like you find a lot of interesting information. You find a lot of like relevant information to weather theory and stuff like that, but you don't really find anything particular about what you want. Consider the boost dice, I guess, in this situation to be like the knowledge that you found about storms in general could potentially be useful at some later date. You can decide what that actually might be in character, but yeah. All right, I might need to get some coffee after this, but that's for a future Dave to worry about. Okay, next we have Tyler Blackmar. Right? Yes. Well, Zachary was supposed to go next, but Tyler will go next, and followed by Paul, who actually nominated to go after Tyler. So, all right. The Blind Watchman. The scene is quiet as Tyler goes home around 8:50. Yeah. He notices that everyone else in the neighborhood left, but he goes into his house with Jack, the dog, by the way. He takes off his uniform and puts on a polo and sweatpants. He stares at the storm wall and hears his door open. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. They've kind of consolidated a conversation between 2 actual player characters here. So I'm going to do my best to sort of work this out, but we'll see how we go. Paul, this is bad, Tyler says. There's no contact with the outside world. Whatever this is, we're locked in. That's odd. No contact at all, said Paul. Yeah, I tried calling a couple of people, some family, some contacts, but nothing. Things are going to get worse once people learn this, Tyler stated. When did this start? Paul asked. No clue, replied Tyler. Okay. Okay. Recently, my secretary picked up her essentials and seemingly disappeared, but before the storm too. These shreds of paper seem to be the last thing she shredded, and my only other clue is that it looks like she left in a hurry, as if all the essentials are gone, but she left a passport behind. Tyler turns around and crosses his arm. I have a bad feeling about things going into the storm. I heard over the radio that civvies who got close. Well, it wasn't good. If she's still in the county, I'll help look otherwise. Oh wait, geez, I'm a little confused as to who's talking here, to be honest. But Tyler shrugs. I don't know where she's gone. Maybe we can put these shreds in the right order. He will say something. I doubt she just left them for the world to see without. I don't know where she's gone. Maybe if we put these shreds in the right order, because this is a giant block of text as well. It's very hard to read. It will say something. I doubt she just left left to see the world without telling me. Okay, I see what you're saying. Paul said worryingly. Alright, but we need to grab some essentials and pack them in the car. After that, let's head to the library. It's larger. It's larger, more hard to secure, but less people, I think, will go there. We'll piece it together there. Ah, the players are trying to join forces. I like it. Seems good. Let's drive separate cars just in case we have to make a quick escape and pack them away from each other. Or park them away from each other. Paul said. Yeah, but keep your gun loaded with extra ammo, Tyler replied. I have a feeling this town ain't gonna be reaming. I have a feeling this town ain't gonna be reaming itself for very long with the ream. I don't get it. Being maybe. Anyway, being itself for a very long time with the cum shut down. Paul said worryingly. You and me both, brother. I go to the library and help Paul figure out the clue with perception. Okay. Well, let's see what Paul does first, which was fighter pants. All right. Above happens. On the way to the library, the monologue starts. Tyler Blackmar. What a card. Hold up. What a card. Knew him since... I don't get what a card means, but... Knew him since back in Nam. He may be a bit of a drunkard, but when you need him, he's there for you. Too bad he wears the blue. Otherwise, he'd really be able to be of service to this county. Liberty was a good idea. If we get caught up in something, we can always research it. Oh, library. Sorry, fucking... looks like here we can always research it. Looks like here the library is. Let's just hope nothing goes wrong. Paul will attempt to put the shreds of paper in the proper place with Tyler at the library, using perception alongside Tyler. Alright. I don't know who's going to be leading this. But what we can do in this instance is, since both people are attempting the same role, essentially, we will go with, I don't know how I want to handle this now. I guess Tyler would be leading since he got... No. Paul would be leading since he got the initiative. So Tyler will make a roll. He did nominate to go after him. So alright, so we'll go with Tyler is the leader in this instance. That's how we'll handle this from going forward. So keep that in mind, people. If you want to have a leader of a skill go first or something like that. And he will be the leader. So Paul, facing the same difficulty. Let's make this a 3 purple, because it is pretty monotonous. Is perception the right skill for this though? I mean, I guess you are putting it together with sight and stuff. But it is a very monotonous task. I would say this is more of a task for discipline than perception at some point. Mostly because the perception, I mean, that's not the actual skill that's like revolving around here. It is pretty much... yeah, I would say in the future, discipline is a role that you'd need to do in order to do something like long and boring, which is what this is. Like filling out like a ton of paperwork, for example, is discipline rather than say like, you know, something else. Unless you had like bureaucracy or something like that, which I don't think they have in this game, do they? No, they don't. So yeah, like discipline is pretty much how that goes. But we'll use perception here. But it is the wrong skill in my opinion. But I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to force these skills. So Paul, if you succeed at this, oh wait, no, the leader will be Tyler. That's what we decided. Because Paul is helping you, you will get a blue die, a boost dice. But yeah, so you guys get to the library with this bag of shredded paper, essentially. The library was open. There is a couple of people here, and namely there is like an old lady who is blissfully unaware of the situation that's going on outside, and a very strange man in a top hat, I guess. Looks out of place, and you know, maybe he's on drugs. Maybe. So let's roll that perception. Fucking hell. Well, you fail in doing so, but you generate 2 boost dice for the global team. 5 advantages. Oh, man. Alright, so that puts the boost dice total up to 3. Top hat on drugs. So you both fail. So I'm going to give you both 2 strain here. As this is sort of like, you know... Paul. Yeah, so 2 strain because you're essentially trying to like fit a round peg into a square hole there. Yeah, literally no success putting this back together. It's monotonous, annoying, and it makes no fucking sense. There's stuff mixed in here. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. All right, so Olga. Olga is next. Also, hello Lavender, welcome to the stream. Let's take a squiz at what Olga wishes to do. So, I was afraid of letters or photos. One from grandpa to another. From one grandpa to another. Great. Olga looks at the photo. That is weird. All of this. Father is not a headmaster for sure. Jules was. He was the one who gave me orders and location. Or is this package not related? It just imitates the others. And father did not tell me about this man. Why? Another game of his? And this locket? What origin of it? Sumerian? Egyptian? Roman? How old? Or is it a replica, and why? Too many thoughts in her head. They are like a pack of rabid dogs, bark at each other without avail. But why make the organization right after the war? Why? What was the point of it? I thought it was connected to... Yeah, this is a mystery indeed. Oh. Yes, this is a mystery indeed, says Godfather. His voice changing completely from the last episode. Scratching his head. Mon ami, I also give you this. In his hand is an exquisite hairpin, which is encrusted with a big pink jasper and dark green. I don't know how to say this word. Agates. I think it's agates. I could be wrong there though. I'm a fucking idiot today, so you know, take it as you will. Olga takes it and examines it. It is indeed very beautiful. And wait, is it a screwdriver? I'm always saying everyone needs to have a Swiss knife. This can be sold, used as a weapon, and a screwdriver. But more important... Right. I am always saying that everyone needs a Swiss knife. This can be sold, used as a weapon, and a screwdriver. But more important, it suits your black hair very well. Smiles Franz. But right now, we have to go to another place. A much safer place. And we need to go very silently, says Franz. I'd like to use stealth to follow friends. Well, that really depends on where you're going. I'm not entirely sure where you're going, per se. So, yeah, I'm a little confused as to where you want me to take you. So if you could elaborate on that. You're in the chat outside somewhere. Do you have a direction in mind, or do you just want to go to like a safe house or something? Because the difficulty comes from where you want to go, per se, you know, so a safe house. Like a private safe house, or one that would be open to the public? Just waiting for Lavender to say something. Bunker not open to the public. Okay. All right then. So in that case, I would say that the stealth is needed specifically because have you ever heard the story about the man who is the only one in town to build a nuclear bunker? Like in case of nuclear war. And then on the day that nuclear war happens, he goes down to his bunker and the town attempts to try and break in because they all thought he was crazy for building this nuclear bunker, but it's the only safe place to go. It's a real thing that happened in Hawaii when they did that accidental nuclear bomb test. By the way, lots of things happen. You should Google some of those stories. It's fucking crazy. Because people think they were going to die, so they do all this weird shit. Like one of them was like having sex with a sibling because it's just like, fuck it, man, we're going to die. And then it turns out to be an accident. So all these people have all these like things. Anyway, one of the stories was a man building this nuclear bunker. And, you know, in a lot of cases, having a bunker built in stealth and then going to that bunker is not a bad choice in the matter. So, okay. I googled this. It was savage. Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. See, on one hand, I want you to be able to say to me as a GM, we have this bunker, and then just live out the rest of your life in the bunker, right? But on the other hand, I kind of don't want you to have the bunker because I want to be able to have you sort of exist in the world and be able to interact with things and stuff like that. So I'm okay with this bunker to exist. But what I want to say is that this role, right? This role that's being made right now will represent not only your stealth going to this bunker, but also the likelihood that it has remained unfound. Right? So that's sort of what I want this role to represent. Because the likelihood of, you know, people are going crazy, right? And with fair claim. So we're going to make this a... let's make this a 3 purple. I feel like that's an appropriate difficulty here. But it's sort of like the failure state of this also represents like, you know, the bunker being like not secure, I guess would be the right point there that I'm trying to make. So I hope I'm not trying to take too much away from your character by saying that, but like to a degree, I think it's important in order to keep you in the story a little bit. But with a success, it doesn't matter, and Dave can get fucked. So yeah, friends will lead you between houses, you know, under basically a sewer grate, and down into the depths of an abandoned, basically, sewer. In there, he has constructed an elaborate construction of this secure bunker. And, he'll say something. I've built this place in case of emergencies, and I can't think of a better time to use it when literally the world wants to eat us. So, he beckons you inside. You go in, and he closes the door behind you and spins the wheel shut, essentially. It's dark in this room, and the only light, which, Franz does turn on, is a very, very, very dim yellow light. And the room that you're in is pretty much wall-to-wall covered in toiletries, food, water, and the bare essentials, basically. There's a couple of magazines in here. There's a ham radio and a television. But, you turn on the television, nothing works. There's also a generator in here as well, an emergency generator. But as it turns out right now, the power seems to be running off the grid. So you seem to be okay, at least for the time being. But yeah, that's where we'll leave your particular story. The strain, I'll give you 1 strain for the fact that you had to stealth around townspeople and stuff like that who are literally going crazy and, wailing, oh, woe is me, I'm about to die, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. And last but not least, we have Samuel Davis, aka Heavy Metal Madman. Sammy reached over for his dealer, searched all over for his dealer to no avail. Where is that cocksmoker? Terry usually hangs out by the quick stop at the corner of Muse and Smith, but no one was around. Well, I could check out the Hooters on 13th. That pervo always hangs out there. On the way, Sammy couldn't help but think about how strange everything in the city feels in the city right now. People moving erratically, being forgetful. Tension was in the air, and it was all because of that damn cloud. While that might concern lesser people, Sammy was determined to finish his quest for another high, and no cloud was going to stop him. Finally, at 13th Street, Sammy went around the back of the Hooters to see if his man was there. Sammy spotted a few people talking. Hoping that Terry was one of them, As he approached, he noticed there were only 2 men in the back alley. Both were disguised, and even worse, armed. Before he could back out, he drew the attention of the men. "What are you doing back here, boy?" one of the masked individuals barked. "Hey, don't worry about me, man. I'm just looking for my..." Sammy stopped himself short. It probably wasn't his best interest to inform the 2-armed man that he has any sort of money. "A friend. He's obviously not here. I'll just be going." Sammy starts to back away from the alley. "You guys go back to what it is that you're doing. Fight the man and all that." "I'd like to use athletics to escape these armed goons. Running into alleyways and trying to shake the men. Who may or may not be chasing him." Alright, sure. 2 purple. Difficulty, so not extremely difficult. Your failure here will determine whether or not they see you as an easy target. So we'll go with that. So athletics. It was athletics, right, that you wanted to use? Yes. Yes, it was. So let's do that. Ugh. Well, you make 2 more boost dice, so for a total of 5 boost dice generated from this session. So good job, team. But no successes. But also worth pointing out, no failures, which in itself is a failure, but not as bad as an actual failure. So with that in mind, we basically get that thing where you like fight the power, and then you just like look down the alleyway and you fucking sprint. And these two men sprint after you. Like, maybe they saw our faces, or maybe this guy heard what we were doing. We can't let him leave, you know? Like, that's sort of the thing that they're trying to do. You know, you're sprinting, and then we get, you run down an alleyway, another one. One of them smashes into a trash can, but the other one keeps up with you. You come to a dead end, right? You try and climb the chicken wire fence with the razor wire on top, but to no avail. You come crashing back down. Damn those smokers' lungs of yours, right? The two men, one of the other man who fell into the trash can catches up with a comical banana peel on his shoulder, which he shakes off. Both the men menacingly walk towards you with their baseball bats. I'm going to give you a point of strain here, Heavy. But you will have an opportunity to defend yourself in the next act. All right. And that pretty much sums up the GM turn for today. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will be posting the next act in a little while. And we'll see how you guys go. I'm interested to see how everyone does. Your stories are all coming together pretty good. It's also worth pointing out that this is now this session. Next act will be the first nighttime of the game. So yeah, that's where we'll leave it. All right, we'll swap over to proper gaming in just a sec.